You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads, reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I am Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we are all for one and one for all as we review the Three Musketeers. But first, JB, how are you and the family?
Three of us are doing well. My daughter is... It's been a rough couple weeks for her. She, little sissy, she bless her heart, she sees the older brother and wants to trudge after him everywhere that he goes. And she's walking everywhere at her age, and she just the coordination is taking a little bit of time. She can get a little head of steam and run around in circles, and that's all good and stuff like that. But sometimes she just doesn't know her own boundaries of what she can or can't do. Yeah. And she's been running into everything. She's been not paying attention and running into things or just tripping over things and falling. She was on this little toy riding, like kind of push/ride unicorn, and fell on it, and the point of the unicorn hit her right in the middle of the forehead and like literally drew blood. So she had that for a little bit, and then other times she was bump her face, whatever. But the big one was I don't even think she was like running or anything like that. She just tripped and fell directly onto the bookcase or the media center where our TV is at, and hit it right here really hard and made this black eye just like around her eye right here. And I don't think we took her out in public for a couple days just to let it go down a little bit, because we were just like, everybody's going to call CPS on us. We're going to get called CPS immediately. So that is why I say three of us are doing well, but little sissy, she is just, bless her heart, she's having a little bit of a rough time right now. Just for some reason, every time she hurts something, it's always her head, somehow on the side, on the nose, on the forehead. But it's been a rough go.
At least it is self-inflicted. At least you're not having like Buddy coming in and just like.
I mean, not to say that he's not trying to inflict all kinds of stuff on her.
Because I was going to ask you about this. You've got an older boy and younger daughter, like we do, but your kids are a little bit older than ours. Lewis is now in this thing where like he just wants to like just come in and tackle his sister, and she's only 7 months, so it's like. There's not much there. Yeah, that's not great. So there's just these moments where you're like, whoa, diving in, trying to stop it.
Buddy, he tries, he goes from like really gentle to really aggressive in a split second, and we have to catch him before it happens, because he gets like all this pent up energy and like really, and he really wants to be in her face. And then all of a sudden she's crying and we have to put him in the corner, and it's just kind of a mess sometimes. So if he's not inflicting some sort of pain on her, then she's inflicting on herself.
But you are so true on the whole, like anytime your kid has any type of visible like injury, you just feel this compulsory need to like explain it to the nth degree. It's like,
I need a shirt.
Oh, kids, they just run into things. And it's like, I'm a really good parent. I promise. I promise.
I don't know what's worse. Walking around with your child having a bruise, like a mark on their face, or just a bad haircut, because we've literally been walking through them all. And I think it was one of the times that we went to a bad person to get a haircut at, and it was poorly done. We hated everything they had done. Walking through, and my wife is convinced to this day that there's a lady that said, bless her heart, like as we were walking past. So those two things are never good things. Luckily they haven't happened at the same time, a bad haircut with a mark on the face. So
oh my goodness, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Upsetting.
Well, something very exciting happened for us big Disney Plus fans. We got a new trailer this week.
Oh, yes, we did. And I think I sent it to you immediately. I'm sure you had already seen it.
I had. There's this thing called Twitter that...
Do you follow the Disney Plus account?
Yes, of course I do. And so as soon as they tweeted it out, I'm watching it. And it is... What's the cheesy name of the series? It's the Mighty Ducks something. Oh, why didn't we write this down? It is super cheesy.
We didn't do this very well. The trailer that dropped was for the new Mighty Ducks series.
What? There's a new Mighty Ducks series.
If you've been listening to this show at all for any period of time, you probably heard
we've been looking forward to this.
Game Changers.
Game Changers. Yes.
Mighty Ducks. Game Changers.
Honestly, I thought it was like a new season of Survivor. Like that's usually what they do. It's like Survivor, Game Changers.
Yeah. I was super excited to watch this trailer and then was immediately let down by the trailer.
So I was as well.
There was no magic. There was no chemistry,
none.
It barely talked about the kids at all. They had all these kids that I literally can't remember a single one of them right now thinking about it. It was like they just had, what's her name from
Gilmore Girls,
and then they bring back
Emilio Estevez,
and
which is the best moment of the trailer. A little cheesy, he kind of like emerges from the fog of the ice and the Zamboni.
He's running the store now, but it seems like he's running the store. Of course, that was a thing. But it didn't have any, like I'd said, magic. It didn't have any magic to it that I was like, none of that magic with the kids, with the interacting, with all of the things that we loved about and if you want to listen to it, you should go back and listen to our episode. I'll be looking that up, what episode that is while you're talking, giving us something.
So Mighty Ducks, what is so fascinating about it is you have an eclectic group of kids. You've got to have that eclectic group. And what struck me is about the trailer is it's just like 3 random kids that look exactly the same. And I'm just like, I'm not immediately drawn in by a variety of characters. It just, the title Mighty Ducks, the premise of the story isn't what makes that movie. What makes that movie is an eclectic group of kids with their little jabs and one-liners. Our whole review on episode...
I've been trying to get it, and
I'm pointing to you.
I think our website might be down.
No.
I think it's okay. The one of the page, the number 13, episode number 13.
Lucky number 13. There we go. One of the things we go back to time and time again in our whole review was the one-liners, the zingers, the unique different characters and how they interact with each other. And this trailer, it's like, I think you missed that completely. Like there's none of that magic of characters.
Camaraderie, the friendship, the one-uppance on each other, the ragging on each other. No, we don't get any of that. We just get, I don't even remember what it was. I watched it once and was just like,
boring. I'm like, it looks like a cheap Disney Channel show. Like, I'm sorry, but it looks like you remember that, like The Sweet Life or whatever, it's just like, or Hannah Montana. I'm like, no, don't do this to me.
Yes. So unfortunately,
don't ruin my childhood.
Maybe they'll be like Sonic, the makers of Sonic, and listen to their fans and go back in and change the entire thing.
Wasn't that amazing?
that was
Sonic did that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
But this is not a podcast about Sonic.
This is here nor there. We just wanted to update you all, our faithful listeners.
Go watch it. Nobody ever comments, but go ahead and comment whether or not you think the trailer looks interesting or not. But it's supposed to come out in March. I think that was one of the things that I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a series. Quick. It's very quick, which is interesting. I mean, we've got WandaVision going on right now. Falcon Winter Soldier is like a month away from starting. And then we've got this, which is a month and a half away.
Eddie, we're about to get a lot more content.
A lot more content. That's why they're going to charge you a whole $1 more.
Yeah, about that. They didn't upsell the bundle package, so I'm very happy about that so far.
That's true.
And you got in on the ground floor at the crazy 3 years for
$3 a month.
Yep. Insane. Mm-hmm. But Eddie, I think it's about time we give the people what they want, because they're not here to talk about Mighty Ducks or about our own children and about calling CPS on us. They are here to hear for us to, wow, that was incredible. They are here to hear us talk about the Three Musketeers.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
What is that?
I just happen to have a yardstick.
A yardstick, and you are...
So I'm using this like it's a sword.
Is it a lightsaber or a...
that was more of a lightsaber pose.
That's more of a lightsaber thing.
But in the Three Musketeers, they always do the...
Yep.
You know, they bring it up to their face. Like
for podcast listeners, this is riveting stuff. You're missing out on Eddie.
But if you come to
this thing around like he's a 5th grader. So let's listen to the IMDb description for the 1993 film, The Three Musketeers. France, 1625, : Young D'Artagnan heads to Paris to join the Musketeers. But the evil cardinal has disbanded them, save 3. He meets the 3, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, and joins them on their quest to save the king and country.
King and country.
There's a lot of weird. This is definitely the most different description. There's a colon in here. There's some dates and times. There's a lot of number 3s in here when it probably should have been spelled out. THREE, if we're talking about proper grammar.
That does drive me nuts.
I don't know why they have 3s. It's in here twice. Not the date part, but just like save 3. He meets the 3. It's literally the 3. Anyways, we're done. I'm over it. I'm over it now.
All right, let me make my first comment about this movie based off of the description here. Okay. France, 1625.
Yes.
The most attempt at being French in this whole movie is just the 4 dudes' names. Am I right? Like,
you are correct. They did not even try to make this French whatsoever.
No one attempts a French accent in the slightest. There's not even a bad French accent. Like,
they didn't try.
It's you've got clearly American accents, clearly British accents, odd, weird, gruffy voices, but and it doesn't feel French at all. Like it's like a poor episode of Wishbone. I don't know.
Poor Wishbone episode. Wow, that's shots fired right there.
Sorry. But do you see what I mean? Like, it was just like not even like even the costuming to a certain degree. Okay, you've got the Fleur de France, and like that's about it. Yeah,
it's not really set in France. It's just somewhere
European. There's a few castles.
European-ish. There's some castles. Nobody's really trying to, because especially talking about this main cast of Charlie Sheen, Oliver Platt, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell. That's your main 4 protagonists, and then you've got Tim Curry on top of that. Just no authenticity whatsoever. Just throw that out.
None. So let's start then with young D'Artagnan. Chris O'Donnell. D'Artagnan.
Who would go on to be a
Robin,
CSI or NCSI staple for many, many years, Chris O'Donnell. But anyways, let's go. NCIS or whatever.
Is that which one? L.A., New Orleans, Las Vegas,
the original.
Washington, D.C.
I'm pretty sure
Indianapolis.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking up his filmography while we talk about him.
So, not the greatest exercise in acting.
I would agree.
Definitely
NCIS, then NCIS Los Angeles. So it's the Los Angeles one. But anyways, go on.
Okay. Yeah, a little flat, little
bit,
little one-dimensional.
Little bit.
Little one-dimensional. But still, I don't know.
You can see Kiefer Sutherland in this prepping for his 24 days. He's putting all of that like long stare. He doesn't have it yet. He's trying, but he doesn't quite have the that look of, you have no idea what he's gonna do. He might bite your leg off to save the world. Doesn't have that quite yet. He's working on it in this film, but he's got another 7 years before. 7 to 8 years before he needs that.
The scene that kind of sets it off, because Kiefer Sutherland has this way of taking a serious scene and being too serious with it.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is why I just couldn't get through the rest of Designated Survivor, because I'm just like, no, yes, but I can't. But that scene in the tavern with young D'Artagnan, and he's like, I can never trust a guy until I've drank with him. Yeah. You know, it's just, okay, that's
he's got a very good like, he's got flies coming in his face where he's just like
this is
frustrated.
A very visual podcast this episode.
He's frustrated, but he's moving his he doesn't literally swat the flies, but he's just like
yeah.
Yeah, he does that really well.
And in that scene, I have to appreciate, there's a couple of comments all throughout that about young D'Artagnan's like drinking age, like there was a legal drinking age in the 1600s.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think I don't think they did their history.
I don't think there was an, ID checked. Like, oh, did he get carded? You got to card him. Yeah, that's not happening. And then he's got the whole thing where like D'Artagnan's like, what shall we drink to? And D'Artagnan's, to love. What do you know of love? What? No, I can't do this. It will
come back. I can't believe we've gone this far without talking about the fact that there is an action movie where they were relying heavily on the sword fighting of Oliver Platt.
So I'm so glad we get to Oliver Platt, because he is by far my favorite character throughout this whole movie. I love him as an actor in general. From West Wing, I think he's fantastic.
Well, let's not say the Oliver Platt in the West Wing. This is completely different. Completely different.
But he's
places.
I wouldn't say it's completely different, because all Oliver Platt's characters do have a certain level of eclecticness to them. There's these.
I'll give you that. No, he was amazing in The West Wing as the president's lawyer. Incredible.
Yes. But in
this is closer to his performance in Beethoven.
There we go. Well said. Another.
Now I need to look up and see if we're going to be covering Beethoven.
No, I think it's a Fox movie or a.
Oh, we would have already hit it. It was 1992. So same time. So he comes off of doing Beethoven, the dog movie.
Comes and does
I don't know why that movie is just, we watched that so many times. I'm so upset that we're not going to be actually covering that, because so much time spent watching that movie.
Who produced it?
So the producer of this film, Northern Lights.
Like who distributed it?
That's Northern Lights. I don't know.
Not Disney.
Yeah, so
come on, Disney.
This is not. Anyway,
so that same tavern scene. I don't know why, but just that tavern scene where they he's having D'Artagnan practice. You need to practice your winching.
There's a lot of mentions about wenches in this. First, it starts off with, why don't you go home, go back to your home, marry a wench, and give her a child. And then later on, he's like, let me talk to you about the subtle arts of wenching. Later on in this random tavern, it's so awkward, so ridiculous.
That was one of my first moments where I'm like, this is a Disney movie? Hold on.
Oh, there are so many moments. The opening scene where the guy's getting whipped.
Yeah.
Just like getting out and out whip. You can see that's as far as I could get with my son. And I was like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to watch this later just by myself because I'm not gonna watch this with my 4-year-old son. And then, then the guy gets stabbed. You just see the shadow or whatever. And then just like all of the interactions basically with women in this movie is so overtly sexual that it's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous.
Yes, the countess the whole way through, it like pretty much you've got the I don't know, like forced almost rape at the with There's D'Artagnan. So there's hold on, what's happening? Like, I thought this was the Disney movie. This should be somebody else. I don't know.
The whole situation with Tim Curry and the Queen. You've got the Charlie Sheen and the girl he's tutoring. The opening with Charlie Sheen, which Charlie Sheen does a better job of the action in this film than Oliver Platt does by far.
Yes, by far.
He is not not the worst case in this.
There's
Kiefer Sutherland,
a lot of violence and a lot of sexuality for a 90s Disney movie. That's Disney movie. I don't know how else to phrase this.
If this was an 80s movie, we'd get it. Yeah, that's
maybe
the 80s.
But you're the family brand, and no, not at all in this movie. But in that scene, Oliver Platt does have my favorite line of the movie, where it's they've done the whole practice the winching, and he falls over somewhat drunk or whatever, and then the music starts playing, and he goes, "What a lively tune! I'm inspired to dance."
Yep.
And he gets up and does this random dancing that's obviously they're he doesn't really know how to dance, so let's just let him do his thing and we'll pick what we can actually put in the movie.
When he actually, and then he gets up and actually does try to dance, and it's
awful. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Why did nobody stop this from happening? Just someone push him over, and then we'll say he's drunk, and then just move on from it. No, that was...
I just want to sit down with the casting director who put Charlie Sheen, Oliver Platt, and Kiefer Sutherland together.
It's amazing. There is zero. If you just said those three names and said, what kind of a movie are they in? A period piece action film about the Three Musketeers would
be the furthest.
Nowhere on my list.
No, I would think
nowhere.
A remake of Three Men a Baby, or
that's a good one. That actually is a good one.
Or it's some kind of cheesy rom-com. Not
or if it's an episode of 2.5 Men, it's probably closer to that than
sure. But I think even with the casting of that, this movie doesn't know what movie it wants to be. Is it a comedy? Is it an action? Is it a family film? Is it full on crazy?
I think we can rule family film out of this. I'm pretty sure it's not that.
But at the same time, if you're going to be just kind of a PG-13 action kind of edginess, it's not edgy enough. It's edgy just enough to kind of be weird and creepy.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve a purpose in the story. It's just let's just toss that in there. Oh, that's weird. That's odd.
This poor movie. There's so many things happening.
Here's the redeeming factor. It maybe, I don't know. I I love Tim Curry. Like anything that he is in, I find him to be delightful. Even though he's just a comical, villainous.
What do you think it is? Character. What do you think it is? Because he plays. He like the moment you see him in anything, no matter what he's playing, you're drawn in immediately, and like I care about any word. That it's something of his. It's for sure part of his smile, but then also just the way he talks. There's nobody that talks to him like him.
It's the way he enunciates a word. He just has a way of making sure he clearly enunciates, attacks the consonant, but getting all of the vowels in there with it. He just makes these odd vowel sounds before each consonant. I was listening.
Can I tell you what the big result of this film was?
What?
Because my wife kind of came in about halfway through and was like watching. And she's like,
"What?"
She near the end, she's like, "Hey, I love Tim Curry. Can we watch another Tim Curry movie now?" Sure. What do you want to watch? We watch
Clue.
How did you guess that? How did you guess that?
It's the best Tim Curry movie.
That's incredible.
He's amazing.
Insane.
In that movie.
So I'd never seen Clue, but you can watch it on CBS All Access if you have it.
What?
So we have that because...
Hold on. Wait.
It's on CBS All Access.
This was your first viewing of Clue?
First viewing of Clue.
Get out of town.
I am 95% sure I've seen maybe one scene maybe of it, but no, I'd never seen Clue. So
we were a year old when it came out, so makes sense. But that was a favorite. That I love that movie. I find it. So again, I love movies where you have just that eclectic ensemble of characters and you just see the
people,
random groups of people, right? That is like a masterclass of a movie of that category. It's just random. Mrs. Peacock in that movie, I still cannot get enough of.
Is it because she reminds you of a drama teacher that we used to have?
Yes.
We were in plays together.
Will not be named. But Tim Curry also is fantastic in Home Alone 2. Arguably the character that makes that movie.
He is a very interesting character in that because he's not really a bad guy. He's just doing his job, but he's in the worst situation. He just gets taken advantage of by this kid over and over.
But still a bad guy, you know, still kind of not that great.
He finds the kid out. Yes. But
I love. And so I think in this movie, even though it's just such a creepy character with the cardinal hitting on everybody, and I don't know, it's just so weird. But I do enjoy Tim Curry. He hasn't been in that much recently.
I did have to ask myself if he was still alive because I know there's been several Twitter hoaxes.
Yeah.
Twitter death hoaxes.
So I do have some good news for us here on the Honey, We Made a Disney podcast. We will see Tim Curry again when we review Muppet Treasure Island.
Yes.
That is another big Tim Curry role because he plays Long John Silver in that movie. So, and that's coming up. We're in 93 right now, and that was released in 96. So
we've got like 30 films in between that. I want to go over a couple scenes that really made this movie very special. When they steal Tim Curry's carriage. And they take it on a fast chase out of town, trying to get away. They find his secret stash of the Cardinal's secret snack chamber. They're talking about the wine the whole time. No, I don't want a white wine. Brings up, there's the red wine.
No, he brings out champagne and it's like, we're still in the midst of the fight. This is no time to celebrate. Then a dry red then, or something like that.
They're like both not taking it seriously and taking it seriously at the same time.
Yeah.
But when they finally get away from him just a little bit, they get up the hill and then they decide to light it on fire. And all of these guys are chasing them. And then
he says, don't, we can't let this bourbon go to waste. And
so they light it on fire, put it back down. Then all of the guys see it's coming, and then they do the whole Monty Python, run away, run away, run away. And they start running away. And then we get the Michael Bay-esque explosion because it hits everything in this town apparently has dynamite.
Barrels of gunpowder. It's like every barrel of gunpowder in all of France happens to be right there at this time.
It's incredible.
And my favorite is they also do like this flaming barrel will go like a 50 yards and fall into another pile of
and
barrels.
Then it starts it up again.
And then another one. It like happens 2 or 3 times where just the explosion.
I don't know who the stuntman in this, but even that first opening scene with Chris O'Donnell when he's trying to run away, there is a lot of people falling and hitting themselves.
Yes.
Very similar to my own daughter, like we talked about in the opening.
Yes.
Like everybody's getting hit or the ladder's being pulled out from under them. It's just chaos. And every one of these action scenes is just chaos.
Your allusion to Monty Python is spot on, though. It is a poor reproduction of Monty Python.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but that is, so when I said earlier, like, I don't know what this movie is trying to be. Like, is it trying to be a more serious action film? Or is it trying to be more of a slapstick comedy? Because those are those moments where I'm like, I think you're trying to be like Monty Python right now, but it's not that funny.
No, it wasn't that funny. But there was one thing that was funny that I don't think was meant to be funny.
Let's just assume they did.
The homing pigeons. When the way that he, instead of just saying just something, I'm gonna send out all of my mercenaries to go find them. He can just leave it at that. He doesn't have to. We don't have to have a mechanism, a medium of communication to talk to the mercenaries. He can just say that, and we know. But then no, he opens up these up these gates of all these homing pigeons,
and he's holding one, and he's like, "My feathered messengers will get the word out for me."
It's so rough. It's so bad.
And you know, I enjoyed that moment because I used to raise homing pigeons. Used to race them for many years.
So were the mechanics right? Were these real?
It was very accurate. They looked like real homing pigeons.
I can't believe he has a homing pigeon for each one of his mercenaries that goes directly to their home. That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of training to get these homing pigeons to go to one mercenary at a time.
And that is what's, yes, because each pigeon has to be trained
to go to one place.
To the home of the one mercenary. That also entails that mercenary is always at the same home, right? At least it's not like, here, give this to Igor. Here, give this to Mishael. You know, like
Mishael. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't go through this entire thing without talking about that, but without that. Also, Gerard, the guy from the opening who just keeps coming up, and poor Gerard. He just keeps losing, but trying to come back. And then he tries to one-up Chris O'Donnell when he's D'Artagnan or whatever, when he's about to die. He's like so giddy, and then he loses it. And he like, that dude has a physical way to go, whoa, like his face just elongates into like the saddest face ever.
And though I loved the recall of that all the way to the bitter end. Like the very end of the movie is, D'Artagnan, I must avenge my sister. And well, now we know how to come to your aid, and then it's just this stream of Three Musketeers in the blue robes. It's not just the three of them. It's like all of them. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I loved the recall of that one. Did you pick up some of the minor characters? Did you perhaps recognize Queen Anne from another movie we reviewed recently?
I don't know that I did.
The actress, who is Gabrielle Anwar.
From the horse movie.
I was wondering what you were going to call it. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Can't Be Broken.
She portrayed Sonora Webster.
They were that impressed with that film that they brought her back. That's a reach.
Oh my goodness. And then I love, if I can, Michael Wincott, the guy who plays Captain Rochefort. I'm not good with my French pronunciations either, but he's the guy with like the super gruffy voice, everything, like a real raspy voice.
I don't remember him. I'm sorry.
Well, you remember the character though. It's the guy who's always in black and he fights him.
Oh, that's right. What else did we see him in?
He's in a lot of. So he was in 24. He was in the Alien remake in 97. But he's also done a lot of like voice acting, of course, because he's got a very distinguished voice. And I know him from Treasure Planet. We'll cover that in, I don't know, 150 films.
Oh goodness, Eddie, I don't even know where to begin to rank this film, because I feel like all of the bad movies that I would never want to see again. And there were definitely a few moments in this film where we're like, if I was just switching channels, and for the young kids listening to this, that's when you have to actually wait to watch or you watch something live as it happens, but it's not that good. So you have to change channels back and forth to find something that's good at that moment. You can't just recall it like Netflix. If some of these scenes popped up, I'd sit and watch it again. This is like classic TNT film. Like that's the channel for this show.
Just kind of a swashbuckling sword fighting that's just fun. It's not too serious.
So that's why for me, as I'm thinking about this, I forget what I can't remember. People are going to hold me to what I've ranked other films. Like, I can't believe you ranked this over this, whatever. I'm going to give this a solid 1.5 fruit snacks.
Wow, that low.
It's not a good film at all. That half a snack is like I will entertain this for a little bit, but I don't want to spend much more time with Chris O'Donnell in this film.
Yeah.
It's like way over the top, way too over the top for my appreciation. So I'm going to go 1.5.
I am it's now dawning on me that we've not kept track of our ratings.
No track. No, we have no, we'd have to, it'd take a while to go back and
we'd have to go back and re-listen to all 20 episodes.
I need to start putting that in the notes of like, how did we rank this?
Yeah, we need to keep track. We need to keep a page on that should be on the movie list is what we ranked it.
Eddie and JB's rankings.
I was going to say 2, but I think I will come down and agree with you so that we can have some unity here and say, okay,
that 1.5.
Yeah. It's bad when you leave it and you're like, don't want to ever see that again.
That's where I'm at. If I don't want to watch it again, then so that's why I give it the extra half, just because like there's a few scenes there's like I enjoyed that moment, and then we will move on and be like, oh yeah, this is why I don't want to watch the rest of the film. Is there any dad tips in this?
Yeah, don't let your kids watch this movie. Like, don't
watch this movie with your kids.
Don't watch this movie
unless you want to explain to your child what a wench is.
Right. Oh my. So I don't. Have you seen? There was another version of Three Musketeers.
Oh, Eddie. There is not another version of Three Musketeers. There are
multiple.
1, there 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different Musketeers, plus the Three Musketeers, which is on Disney Plus. We may have watched that instead of watching this version when I was watching with my son.
No, I was thinking of the one that came out
the 2011
2011 Paul W. Anderson directed. That also is awful.
Oh, that's got some
Luke
major
Evans, Orlando Bloom.
That's got some major people in here.
It wasn't good at all either. Like, I can't think of a Three Musketeers movie that I've like, oh wow, that was really good. I really love that.
Orlando Bloom, Mila Jovovich, Mads Mikkelsen, Ray Stevenson, Christopher Waltz. There's a lot of people in this.
Yeah, the 2011 one got a 26 on the tomato meter.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
Should see what the this version got.
Oh, it looks like Mila Jovovich fights in this too, so maybe she wants to be a musketeer too. It's funny that they're known as the Musketeers, and they're known for their sword fighting. Wouldn't you think a musketeer would use their musket more than a sword?
Well, I'm sure that there has to be some French etymology of the word musketeer.
There must, because I'm thinking of a gun musket, not a
musket.
Which there is some of that in there. There's a little bit of that in here. Another Monty Python thing that I was thinking about was when they're just strolling down the way and then the castle is throwing things at them as they're running away. That was another little Monty Python.
Very Monty Python
I'm
moment.
sure that was an on the nose like little thing to the French. The I spit in your general direction. Yeah. So is there a good Monty Python or Three Musketeers movie?
Even some of the old ones, like the Earl Flynn versions, are just really good sword fighting, but awful story and character.
Eddie, let me just tell you, the 1973 version, let me just read this to you. There were, once upon a time, 4 Marx Brothers, 4 Beatles, and now there are 3 Musketeers. I haven't had such a good time at a new movie in years. Peter Bogdan, director, Pepper Moon, and What's Up, Doc? Oh, that's why, because I don't know any of these people. This is just all bad. Yeah. I think this might just be a cursed topic. Cursed story. It just you don't make it. You just don't make good ones. But anyways.
So there you go. 3 Musketeers. Unfortunately, if you haven't seen it, I don't know if we would recommend you go watch it. Maybe
not. Just pass. It's okay if you don't want to revisit this one with us.
Yeah. But our next movie, have you ever seen it before, or is this your first time?
This will be my first time to watch it. Iron Will
is probably my mom's favorite movie.
It's a dog movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Is this the one that they just redid with Harrison Ford?
No.
There's so many redone dog movies.
No, the Call of the Wild is the Harrison Ford, and I don't know if that was ever done.
It wasn't?
Jack London wrote 2 books. He wrote Call of the Wild. Well, he wrote lots of books, but this 2 that he's known for is Call of the Wild and
the one we already did,
White Fang.
That's what I always get mixed up with.
I love how you just are so the one we already did. So yes, Iron Will. Tune in next week. You will hear me rave and go, "What? JB? What?" Thanks for listening, everybody.